Once again, a reminder, trading is risky. Use risk capital you can afford to lose. So there's an example of our predictive model for the day, which suggested that this 20 should be a supportive pivot. And that's why when we looked at that this morning, we said, okay, make sure you're paid. And then it shows us the extreme zone that is contemplated for the day. And we know we can go through these and we'll have to readjust. But for now, until that does, that's our resistance zone. And that's already in our predictive model. And step by step, we can see how important this 27 area is to hold, to keep driving. And I contend that usually we get these kind of bounces to knock shorts out of positions before we even think about resuming the downside. Kind of create this flag, and then you can roll over. But typically, I don't expect a big move south side normally. You'll get them, but not normally on a Fed. Usually it'll take a day or so or later in the day. And then you've got to be careful about buying into the nonsense because they're just trying to keep the shorts from gaining position. And the bots are programmed to just close their eyes and buy. You're not. I'm not. We deal with our emotions. Try to remember the overnight high. That's a barrier to coming backwards. So you try to remember all of the things that we looked at earlier and understand that, okay, so that's reversed now. Instead of coming south, we've taken out the highs. So that's a support zone until broken. First pullbacks are usually Bible, and if you're looking at something like this chart, it's helpful. And if you want a tighter chart, then you go to something a smaller denomination. So this is the 5-minute chart, and you can see how we've done the bow tie and trying to stay above the rain line right now. Very important. And first pullbacks you can see more clearly on a chart like this. There's a 2. There's a 3. Some traders love 3s. Here's a 3. You'll see with these faster charts. Even the 1. So this gives you an edge of 15 being your base chart that we looked at to show support. And now we can see it much faster with a 1-minute chart or 2 for these potential targets we talked about. 36 was projected T4. So anybody long side at the gap close, stops up. We talked about possibility of that 36 to 38 as our resistance zone today. It could go any place, but that's our projected resistance zone. So here's an example of news, a contra. And we said usually first pullbacks are buyable. And here's your buy right back here. And typically a bigger trader is going to add in at this. It's going to take this, maybe take a few points. He's going to add back in and fight the trend that's established right here. NQ is doing okay too. Keep your eye on that. $36 we said was primary target today, and then above that, anything goes. Perfect example. Bingo. Okay, anybody that trusted my judgment that 25.5 was our squeeze pivot, now you can obviously see that relationship and you move everything up. Never have a losing trade once you got a winner going. And I say this 29 was going to be very influential today. That's support until broken. Right there. And my advice, make sure you get paid by 36 because that was our target we talked about. Great stuff. We'll go look at a few of the other charts that are sanitized. Any questions on news trading? This is a typical news event where oftentimes your very best trades are that first pullback. And I'd say this 28 we're going to consider supportive. Just give it a point or so. And that was our flipper from overnight, remember? Because overnight, we had that 28 plus, and then that turned into support right here. And this is an intraday chart. We also want to go look at some of those bigger charts we've been talking about. And it should not matter to you what direction you're going, whether you're going long or short, as long as you're going with the flow. Don't be a one-way trader. Got to be short or got to be long. You're looking for the opportunity and the edge. Hope this was helpful.